Good evening and welcome to today's live session for the subject Urban Governance and Development. I think just we want to see if everyone joins and then we'll start today's session. It's time now. I think we should start the session for today. So, welcome to today's live problem solving session for the subject urban governance and development management. And today we'll be seeing some practice questions that are related to whatever that has been covered so far in week 8 of lectures. So, this would have included two lectures on managing the urban environment. First, general overview of what components are related to the management of urban environment, and the second lecture would have been what are the mandates that form the basis or the basic framework for governing blue and green infrastructure in Indian cities. Then there would have been two lectures on traffic and transportation management, and finally a lecture on the diagnosis of urban spaces. So basically, week 8 lectures cover three different kinds of infrastructure. So blue and green infrastructure, or infrastructure related to the urban environment, and then traffic and transportation management infrastructure, and finally urban public spaces. And for each of the cases, you would see kind of case studies and understanding of how urban governance and development management is takes care of the management and development of urban infrastructure, which cater to various urban functionalities or so this is what has been covered so far in week 8. So let's start with the questions. So there are two questions in this week, or two example questions related to management of traffic, and specifically related to the demand side and supply side management of traffic. So related to these concepts, which part or what are the components of demand side management, and what are the components of supply side management. The first question asks that choose the option which is an example of demand side management of traffic, and we have several options, which includes making new roads, encouraging shared mode, augmenting the capacity of existing roads, and directional controls. And the second question is true or false kind of a question, and that question asks uh, that demand management in traffic management is used to regulate choices in the destination, time, and mode of transport or route, whether this is a true or a false statement. So basically, there are three key elements of traffic management, and these include first real-time management. So management of components or things which takes place in the real time. So as and when the traffic is moving, the actions and controls that can be taken in real time to manage that particular traffic, that is the real time management of the then there is planning component, which is largely understood as the demand side management. So it is basically used to affect the choices of the people who are moving the traffic, or the vehicles, or whatever components of the traffic, how their behavior can be managed in order to better achieve better traffic functioning. That is called demand management, or planning related elements of traffic. And finally, there is planning and capacity building. So these are components which you can undertake to plan or build the capacity of your traffic management systems in order to then further support better uh, traffic functioning in your other. So things in real time management, things like first traffic information. So traffic information can be managed in real time, and the government can offer up-to-date information for road users both before travel and during travel, so in real time, in order to better help them navigate the roads, which roads are easier to navigate, which are more suitable to uh, their path, related to what the destination they are trying to reach and by what kind of mode of transport they are trying to reach to that destination. Then there comes traffic control. So traffic control is control per intersection or road section or entire road network. So this can be both fixed or variable traffic controls. So variable traffic control looks like things looks can be understood with some examples like the chicanes or movable barriers on the road which can be installed as and when needed. Or you might also know that in sometimes in the case of heavy traffic, some roads uh, which might function as both function to serve both to and fro thoroughfare. But in case of high traffic or things like that, those roads can be turned into one-way streets. So things like that, all such things are variable traffic control mechanisms. And then there are fixed traffic control mechanisms like a speed breaker or bollards or permanent barriers, road dividers, things like that. So these are kind of you can understand them as fixed traffic control methods. So in this way, using different tools, different types of traffic control and management techniques, you can control the traffic in real time. Then you have incident management. So this basically is used or needed uh, in handling and elimination of traffic incidents such as accidents or case of cooperation with various authorities when some particular specific kind of special movement is going to take place. So in case of festivals where the roads need to be cleared or if the roads need to be cleared for the movement of a person with a security clearance or things like that. So that kind of incident management also come under the purview of real-time management. So these kinds of things come under the section which is called real-time traffic management. Then there is planning, which is again the demand management. So it is used to affect the choices of the people or the vehicles in the traffic. So it is used to affect the choices in their destination, in the time that they are going to take to traverse their route, and the mode of transport or the choice of route that the particular vehicle or the particular person who is traveling they will choose. Then in planning and capacity building, you have first driver support and monitoring. So this includes driver support systems that comprise of IT and communication technology and applications or apps based on use of such technology which provide assistance to the driver, and these can facilitate several things which can include collision prevention, support for lane keeping and support for navigation systems, etc. And another thing which comes under this is fleet management. So fleet is something just not just one vehicle, but it is a group of vehicles which are coordinated and managed to carry certain population from one destination to another, or the group of vehicles fare between certain routes on a repetitive basis in order to facilitate movement of people in that particular. So again, fleet management also comes under the planning and capacity building, where things like covering the planning, monitoring, and control of the movement and operation of the entire vehicle fleet and its drivers, and then how they are going to facilitate the movement of people who are going to use that particular fleet uh, for their transportation. So I hope this is clear. Then moving into a little detail about the demand side management and supply side management of traffic. So demand management is used to affect the choices in the destination and time and mode of transportation. So it's basically not affecting the infrastructure at all, but it is affecting the behavior of the people or behavior of the vehicle. So not related to whether you are trying to provide more roads or widening or the roads or anything, nothing related to any infrastructure, but it is related to how you can affect and manipulate and change the behavior of people or the vehicle who are part of the traffic, so that you can affect their choices in destination, time, or mode of transportation in order to make a more efficient, a more uh, what you can say, a better traffic management system. So it is demand management is a strategic approach which is used to influence people's travel choices regarding where, when, how, and by which route they travel. And the aim is always to optimize the use of transportation system by reducing congestion and enhancing mobility, things like that. So, by guiding these choices, demand management helps alleviate traffic pressure and promotes more sustainable and efficient transport options. And so, uh, this includes two key things. First is the traffic demand modeling, and second is influencing travel choices, or how you can manipulate or influence the choices of the travelers. So, traffic demand modeling forms the foundation for demand management by estimating the overall travel demand and analyzing how people move. So, this includes several things. First is estimation of trips. So, calculating the number of trips that are taken within a certain area or within a certain network. So, based on that, what kind of management techniques can be adopted. Then second is the identification of the distribution of trips, or when these trips originate, and what are the destinations, which can help us understand better what are the pattern or what are the travel patterns in that particular. Then third is the identification of the modal split, which helps us determine the share of trips that are taken by different modes of transportation, such as by cars, by buses, or by bicycles. And finally, the final part of traffic demand modeling is transport assignment. So this basically includes assigning these particular trips that we have identified from estimation of trip or trip distribution or the modal split. So after identifying, we assign these trips to specific transport means, to specific transport routes and times, and from all this we try to anticipate how the transport network is going to perform, and what are the possible points of congestion that might occur or that might be seen in that particular traffic network. So from this, from the modeling, we analyze how people are going to move, and then we try to anticipate that which areas might have more congestion, which might go smoother, and how what decisions we can take in order to further make sure that the traffic goes smoother and there are minimum possible congestions in any particular area. Then the second thing, after we have modeled, the second thing, in order to make the congestion areas or things more smoother, the second thing that we do is that we try to influence the choices or the travel choices of the people. So it uses various measures to shape the travel behavior of the people, and these are listed here. So the first of this includes regulations. So this includes restricting access to certain areas by either limiting parking or creating car-free zones, or you can influence destination choice, or maybe encourage uh, the use of alternative modes of transport or things like that. The second option in this is provision. So this is done by offering facilities like park and ride systems, or by providing reliable public transport and providing real-time traffic information, which can help ease the choice to switch to more sustainable travel options. Uh, I see only one person has joined. Can you tell me what park and ride facilities are? I see Azizur Rahim, you have joined the session and you're attending. I'm just asking whether you know what park and ride facilities are. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, yes,
So, do you know what park and ride facilities are?
yeah.
So, please let me know what that is. It is okay even if you do
You're
not
talking
know.
about yes, yes. You're talking about many restrictions, not restrictions. I mean, many
No, I'm
types of
asking
brands to.
specifically about park and ride facilities. What park and ride facilities are? Do you know what last mile connectivity is?
No.
Okay, so let me give you one example that imagine that your home is located very far away from a metro station, and from your home to metro station there is no e-rickshaw or no auto rickshaw available, and you have a private vehicle. So it is, yeah, it is not really easy, like your home is 2 or 3 kilometers away from the metro station, but it is not easy for you to take a public transport from your home to the metro station and then take the metro to wherever you need to go. And imagine that you go to office every day by the metro station, but because there is no mode of conveyance from your home to the metro station, no e-rickshaw, no public transport available, what would you do? And imagine in this situation you have your own vehicle.
So the choice, I try to go with my vehicle. I mean, with my vehicle.
Yes. So even though there is a metro facility available, but because you don't have the connectivity for the last leg of your trip, you will still choose your own vehicle over the public transport that is available. Is that true?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So that this is what we call as the concept of last mile connectivity. So last mile connectivity is basically something that, as you know, that most of the public transport, they only fare between major traffic uh, ways. Like if you live in a smaller suburban area, or in an area which is located a little far from the city center, or a more urbanized area, you might not have modes of public transport or modes for last mile connectivity available from your home to the major public transport. So, in those kind of situation, there are introduction for park and ride facilities. So, park and ride facility is basically parking facility located near a large uh, public transport, so near a metro or near a large bus stand, so where you can take your own vehicle and then you can park your vehicle at the park and ride facility, from where then you can then take a public transport. So even in the situations where there is no last mile connectivity, or the last mile connectivity in that area is poor, you can still avail the public transport, and it can function better by providing you park and ride facilities. So you can use your own vehicle for some part of the journey, but the majority of the journey you still cover by the public transport. This is one example of how government can provision certain facility or certain tools in order to help people make better choices about what mode of transport, or which kind of route, etc. they choose for movement. So this is an example of provisioning. Then there is support. So this includes things like carpooling schemes or other things, which then again aims to reduce the number of vehicles on the road, making travel more efficient. Then comes things like promotion. So this basically includes things like encouraging certain travel behaviors. So, for example, pedestrian friendly behavior or bicycle friendly behavior. So, how the government can do this by introducing infrastructure or public transport that leads to a shift towards more environmental friendly modes of transport or things like that. So, uh, you encourage pedestrian friendly or bicycle friendly or certain kinds of travel behavior by providing more efficient means of traversing the path or traversing that trip using that particular road. Then there are disincentives, so it is the opposite of promotion. So this includes negative things or barriers that can be introduced in order to reduce the modes or the type of trips that we don't want people to make. So this includes things like peak hour tolls or road use charges or fines for non-compliance and things like that, which discourage things like unnecessary car travel, especially during congested times, and which nudges people towards traveling in off-peak hour uh, traffic or using alternative transport modes, which doesn't add to the already which doesn't add to the congestion which is already there. So these are certain comprehensive approaches that seek to balance mobility uh, in a way that the demand for traffic infrastructure is managed in certain ways and which can help better management of traffic. So this is what is demand. Then you have supply side management of traffic. So the supply side management of traffic basically focuses on improving the availability and efficiency of transport infrastructure and services for the users. So this approach basically aims to increase the capacity of transportation networks so that they can ensure smoother and more reliable movement across the urban area. So it has several key measures. So first can be building new roads. So constructing additional roadways can help expand the overall transport network and then can ease congestion in areas which has very heavy traffic demand and then can help accommodate the population growth or increasing traffic demand in that particular area. Uh, Next is the augmentation of existing roads. So this basically means it doesn't mean creating or constructing new roads, but enhancing the capacity of the current roads, which can include things like widening of lanes or adding overpasses, which can improve the traffic flow and reduce the number of bottlenecks and travel delays occurring in that particular area. Then there are direction controls. So direction controls can implement things like one-way streets or dynamic lane systems, which can then better manage traffic flow, improving efficiency during peak hours or in high traffic zones. Then there is introduction of efficient public transportation. So expanding and optimizing public transport services, which can include things like buses, metro systems, etc., which offer uh, not just one mode of uh, transport, but uh, a reliable alternative to the private vehicles that people are using, because that is essential if you want to encourage people to use the mass transit instead of their own private vehicle. And finally, another option is to provide a variety of transport modes uh, so that developing and integrating all these options uh, from things like cycling paths, pedestrian friendly areas to car sharing and rail networks, things like that, can allow the users to choose various modes that suit their particular needs and which balances the overall demand on the road. So basically supply side management helps manage the traffic by enhancing the supply of infrastructure and services, and this approach basically seeks to accommodate the growing demand for transportation by reducing congestion while offering diverse and efficient travel options. So I hope it is quite clear what demand and supply side management are. This question is easily solvable based on all of this information. Ahead to the second question for today, which is the major goal of IUCN is protection of nature. What does IUCN stand for? Several options, whether it is Indian Confederation of Nature or Indian Union for Conservation of Nature, the National Union for Confederation of Nature, or the International Union for Conservation of Nature. So basically, IUCN was founded in 1948 and has grown into the world's largest, most diverse environmental network. So basically, it is a network and it brings together a powerful coalition of experts and influential organizations, which can include government bodies, non-governmental organizations, and even indigenous peoples organizations from various countries. So, IUCN's core mission is to advance sustainable development and create a just world that values and conserves nature. So, through its global reach and collaborative efforts, this organization or this union uh, works tirelessly to protect natural resources while promoting equity and sustainability. So, you might have heard about this in the section which discusses uh, Green Infrastructure Guide for Water Management. So, IUCN was a part of uh, or a partnering organization in the development of this Green Infrastructure Guide for Water Management, which is an important initiative that offers innovative solutions to integrate natural and engineered systems for better water resource management. So, this is the organization that this question is talking about. I have also linked IUCN's website. So, if you still have any doubts, or if you want to know more about IUCN, what IUCN does, feel free to click to that link and visit their website. It's easily understandable what this question is talking. So, moving on to the next question for today, which is when was the National Action Plan for Climate Change, which is the NAPCC, when was it launched in India? So, the NAPCC was released by the Prime Minister with the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, or MOEFCC, as its nodal body. And this act basically or this action plan basically outlines a national strategy that aims to enable the country to adopt to climate change and enhance the ecological sustainability of India's development paths. There are several uh, and if you want to count, there are 8 national missions which form the core of this action plan, which includes the National Solar Mission, National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency, and National Mission on Sustainable Habitat, the National Mission on Water, the National Mission for Sustaining the Himalayan Ecosystem, National Mission for Green India, National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, and the National Mission on Strategic Knowledge for Climate Change. So these are 8 key parts of the NAPCC. Another key thing that you need to know while answering this question is that the National Environmental Policy of 2006, or the NEP, was a forerunner of this action plan. So the NEP came first in 2006, and after that, this National Action Plan for Climate Change was introduced. So again, that will help you solve this question. And again, if you still have any further doubts, I have linked the PIB's release document or press release document which talks about the NPCC. So if you still have any doubts, just click through to this link and go to this page which details out the uh, uh, action plan on climate change and about all the missions which are a part of it, what it tries to do, what each of the
But,
mission tries to accomplish,
ma'am,
things like that.
where I can get from the link?
See, you see here this blue PIB.
Okay, 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 yes,
So
yes.
this is the
Okay,
link. I just clicked here, and this will take you to this document.
sure, sure.
Okay.
Thank.
So if you want to read further about the NPCC, you just click through to that link and then access this document. So I think it is quite clear from the document. Again, you can see when the action plan was introduced and things like that. I think that is quite clear. We move on to the next question for today, which is in the context of blue-green infrastructure design, what does blue and green imply? There are several options. Whether blue is commercial land use and green is open area, or blue is water, or green is natural plazas and parks. Uh, Blue is water bodies, green is sustainable industries, blue is traditional industries, or green is sustainable industries. What the blue or green signify? So basically, the concept of blue-green infrastructure, uh, it doesn't have a universal definition, but its core ideas are widely recognized. So most interpretations of blue-green infrastructure categorize the blue-green infrastructure under the broad umbrella nature-based solutions, uh, which emphasizes its role in integrating the natural systems into the urban environments. And blue-green infrastructure primarily focuses on three essential pillars. First is climate change. So, by harnessing natural ecosystems such as wetlands, rivers, and green spaces, blue-green infrastructure helps mitigate the effects of climate change through the carbon sequestration or flood control, temperature regulation, etc. Then is the focus is on health. So, blue green infrastructure also plays a vital role in promoting public health by improving the air quality, by providing access to green spaces, and supporting mental and physical well being through people's interaction with nature. And the final pillar is urban resilience. So this approach focuses on enhancement of urban resilience by creating flexible and sustainable infrastructure, not just the grey infrastructure which we know, but creating more sustainable infrastructure that can withstand environmental stresses such as extreme weather events or things like that, while still supporting biodiversity and while still helping strengthen the communities. So, together, these pillars illustrate how blue and green infrastructure contribute to more sustainable, healthy, and resilient. So, this consists of two parts: the urban green spaces and the urban blue spaces, which form the part of blue infrastructure. So it has two different kinds of components. The first natural components, or the second is man-made, or you can call it engineered components. So the natural components includes things like parks or green belts or squares or green squares or natural uh, say natural forests or woodlands, even wetlands, water bodies, lawns, green buffers, water retention and infiltration elements which are uh, formed from nature-based solutions, not from engineered components. Things like bioretention gardens, bioswales, shrubberies, etc. And then uh, amidst these natural components, there are also engineered components like public conveniences, fountains, walking or jogging cycle, or cycle tracks, or skywalks, gyms, children parks, or open theaters, sitting spaces, etc. which, when integrated with the natural components, can help provide certain functionality to these blue spaces. So they can then function as blueprint infrastructure, which supports both the natural functioning of the urban environment and also provides certain functionality or act as an amenity to the people living in that urban. So I hope this is quite clear.
So the answer is maybe a commercial land use or a green for open area or blue is water, green for uh, nature preservation forest, etc.
I cannot tell you the answer because the answer you are supposed to reach it to yourselves. I can just tell you what uh, the concept is. The answer you have to reach to the answer yourselves. I can just tell you that there are two natural components, the green spaces in urban area and the blue spaces or spaces related to water. So when they come together with certain engineered elements, then they form what we know as the blue-green infrastructure. So that is what blue-green infrastructure is. You need to reach to the answer yourselves. I think I have made it quite clear what the blue components and green components of the infrastructure is. Is that okay?
Okay, thanks.
Moving on to the next question, which is which of the following policies and or acts are responsible for conserving and maintaining blue-green spaces in India? Five options: the National Water Policy, the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act, the National Environmental Policy, the Environmental Protection Act, and the Forest Conservation Act. So one thing you need to understand that in India we don't have a separate policy or an act for conserving and maintaining spaces, but several different key policies and acts form the foundation for conservation and development of blue infrastructure in. So these acts guide the integration of natural systems into urban planning and sustainable development. And these frameworks emphasize things like water management, environmental protection, and ecological balance, which helps support the growth of blue-green infrastructure in Indian cities. So first, let's see what all of these policies pertain to. So first is the National Water Policy of 2000. So this policy basically governs the planning and development of water resources, focusing on their optimal utilization, and it supports the creation of blue-green infrastructure by promoting sustainable water management practices, ensuring that water bodies and wetlands are preserved as a part of urban ecosystems. Then you have the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1974. So this again is a vital pillar for the blue infrastructure, as this act aims to protect and conserve the nation's water resources and ensures equitable access to water, safeguards aquatic ecosystems, it tries or aims to reduce pollution and supports the sustainable use of water resources, which are key principles in the design of blue-green infrastructure that integrates natural water systems into the urban landscape. Then you have the National Environmental Policy or the NEP of 2006. So this policy emphasizes uh, the conservation of critical environmental resources and promotes both intragenerational and intergenerational equity. Thus, its goal aligns with blue-green infrastructure by advocating for integration of environmental concerns in economic and social development. So this policy calls for efficiency in use of environmental resources, enhancing governance and increasing resources for environmental conservation, and all of these which are vital for implementing sustainable blueprint solutions in any urban area. Uh, then you have the Environmental Protection Act of 1986. So this act basically focuses on improving and protecting the human environment, and this act is crucial for preventing ecological hazards and ensuring that development activities do not harm natural ecosystems. And it basically provides a legal framework to incorporate green spaces and water bodies into urban planning, and for safeguarding the ecological balance and forming the backbone uh, to green infrastructure development. And then finally is the Forest Conservation Act of 1980. So this act basically regulates the conservation of forests and forest resources, contributing to the preservation of green spaces and biodiversities within cities. So by conserving forests and integrating them into urban planning, this act supports the expansion of green infrastructure, and it links forests with water bodies to form a cohesive blue-green infrastructure system that can then promote urban resilience. So together, all these policies uh, act and provide uh, a robust framework for developing uh, blue-green infrastructure in India and supporting climate resilience, water management, sustainable urban development, things like that. So I hope that is clear as well. Then moving on to the next question, which is the last question for today. So this question is basically asking about the various plantation guidelines that are associated with the plantation of trees on state and national highways. So the question is asking that consider the following trees and select the best suitable options for plantation along the state highways and national highways in India as per the Urban Greening Guidelines 2014, which are published by the TCPO, Government of India. And you have six options: Maduka latifolia, Millingtonia hortensis, Zatiracta indica, Acacia modesta, Dalbergia siso, and Ficus glomerata. So these are six different options, and among these you have to choose uh, which is the correct option. So this question is basically talking about the urban greening guidelines of 2014. So again, I have linked those guidelines here. So if you just click through to this link, uh, it will take you to this document, which is the urban greening guidelines, which have been uh, made by the TCPO. And in this itself, you can find in this document the trees which provide thick cover and also valuable for economic and aesthetic point of view, and which should be planted along national and state highways. So it provides a list of most suitable trees which are most suitable to be planted along the national and state highways. So this include the name, or this is a scientific name, which is Azadirachta indica, Mahua, Imli, Shisham, Mango, Siresh, and Rain tree. So these are some options which this document provides, which are the best suited trees for plantation on the national and state highways. And then it also tells you about some trees which are unsuited or unsuitable for roadside avenues. So this includes brittle trees like eucalyptus or Millingtonia huntensis, or Acacia sciamia, or Ficus glomerata, things like that. And again, also thorny trees like Acacia and things like that. So again, from their recommendations only, you can check that which of these trees are suited for the state highways and which are not. Uh, but just to tell you that even if you find some options which are not listed in the urban greening guidelines, the greening guidelines also provide a list of criteria which should be taken into account when you select the species of tree which is to be planted on highways or on road networks. So this is the list that it talks about. So first, that the species which should suit the soil and climatic condition of the particular area in which they are being planted. Second, the tree species should be hardy, robust, and it should need little attention once they have achieved certain growth. so that they can maintain and take care of themselves. Then the species should have a long life. Those species should be preferred so that the management or replanting is that is needed is minimal or just for a long time. And then the species must be either evergreen or nearly evergreen, or it should be leafy at least during the summer, because shade, the provision of shade is one key thing which we look for when we decide on what trees to plant on roads or streets. Then the species must be fast growing and wind resistant in order to further facilitate our needs for plantation. And then the tree should be deep rooted and uh, should not have shallow roots, because shallow roots injure pavements, and again shallow rooted trees are not very wind resistant and can cause traffic disruptions if they fall over or keel over in strong winds. Then the species should not be allowed to grow in very large size, requiring expensive pruning or removal time after time. The tree should grow in a way which is suited to the particular state. Then the species should also be capable of easy transplantation, so it shouldn't be very difficult to transplant the tree, and the transplantation and care that is needed in planting the trees along the highway should be minimal and easy. And the final is that the commercial, aesthetic, and social values of the particular species should also be considered while making such choices, because you shouldn't place very, what you can say, uh, trees which have a lot of economic value, so they might get stolen, or they might be cut for economic use by people, or if they have religious value, a lot of the time people associate their religious values or social values to a particular tree or that species. So again, those are also not very suitable to be planted in a thoroughfare where people can't access that particular tree for conducting their social or religious rites. So again, that is not a very suitable tree. So again, focusing on all these things, you should make the choice of the species accordingly. So these are, even if you don't follow the particular list, you can still follow these specific guidelines while selecting a tree species to be planted on the roadside or on the sides of national and state highway. So I hope that this is quite clear. So this was the last question for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for attending today's session. And if you still have any doubts, please feel free to ask.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I have a, yes, I have a question. The question is, what is the difference between a governance, urban governance, and planning?
Urban
So,
governance and
planning,
planning.
yes, planning or designing, urban planning or designing. I mean,
So again,
the similarity between these both are linked. I mean,
but I get that both urban design and urban planning and urban governance, all three of them are linked. But I do not understand what you are trying to ask. What are you basically
uh,
trying to ask?
the governance part and the planning part and the design part. The planning and designing the separate part and the governance part are linked. What is the middle part of these two sections and two part? What is the mm,
So, basically, urban governance and urban planning are closely related, but they are different or distinct concepts. So, urban governance is part of urban planning, but again, urban planning is different from what urban governance is. Basically, urban governance refers to all the processes or the institutions and stakeholder and how the decision making is done and how different policies and regulations are implemented in the cities, uh, and how power and responsibilities are shared among various government and non-government actors, civil society and resident, and uh, using all of this framework for governance, how urban areas are managed. That is what urban governance is. And urban planning is basically the technical and the strategic process of designing and organizing urban land use, urban infrastructure, and organizing the physical development of the city. So, while urban planning is physical development, you again need legal or uh, policy framework to support that urban development, and you need allied institutions and government and non-government actor to then conduct those planning functions in the city. So urban governance is basically that process or that aligned system which facilitates the urban planning uh, process in the city. And it does not only facilitate urban planning, it facilitates a lot of other functions in the city also. But because we are talking about urban planning and governance, and we are talking about urban planning and related governance systems, we largely talk about urban planning and how the urban governance systems help us uh, implement or facilitate urban planning functions in cities. Is that clear?
yes, yes, thanks for the answer. Yes, I'm quite clear. So, you are a urban governor. You are trying to become a governor.
I am a teaching assistant for this subject. I'm a PhD scholar and
I'm sorry.
I
I'm sorry. Okay. So you're trying to, your goal is trying to become a governor.
what I'm sorry, I couldn't understand.
So your goal is, your motto is, I'm sorry to asking you. So you want to become a governor, urban governor,
So, as I said, there are several people who are related to the urban governance function. It's not only the government, but there are a lot of consultancies, public bodies, private partners also, which are engaged in implementing the urban governance function or who take part in how urban development is managed in the city through certain governance mechanisms, as we have discussed earlier also, that how the public and private partnership occurs, who are the different members, and how even the citizens are a part of the governance system, and how everyone together facilitates urban governance and helps manage urban development. So there are several people associated with urban governance. It is not just one kind of person, and yes, I am also a part of the system, but not as a member of a government body. Yes, city managers and people who are linked to certain urban governance institutions, they can learn from this course, but I am only a course instructor who is uh, teaching you this course.
so there are many bodies, governor, governance bodies, many persons, not only one. I'm sorry to asking that. Okay, I understood.
I don't understand what's your question.
There is many bodies to govern the urban governor in many sectional bodies.
And
Uh, to maintaining the whole process. The governance process and manual process.
yes,
Yes, so this is the.
I think if there are no further questions, I think we can close the session for today. Is that okay?
Yes, yes, can.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for attending, and I'll see you again next week on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.